controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. N-I-C-K, mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix, so that dabbling politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what's in front of ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics. Listen, we debate it all every week Saturday night, and the YouTube thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time, so you better get some better views and get saved up all your time. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabble is blasting out the political shit. The bastard for shit, put bounce in the dabble pit. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 Hey ladies, where you at? Hey fellas, where you at? And the dabblers that don't give a fuck. Where you at?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dabbling in Politics. The first time in ages we actually went live on back-to-back Sundays like we're supposed to do, which is fantastic. Want to thank those of you for joining us. Jesus. Sorry. I'm on a super delay. I can usually hear myself. It took way too long. Yeah, me freaked out like no one could hear me. All right. Yeah, sorry for the delay. Had the usual delay by me, and then the usual internet issue by me. So, the amazing part is usually when I bring Cryptid on, I can't fucking hear him or see him, but I was able to right away. So that was the good part. So anyway, speaking of Cryptid, let's bring him on. Let's say hello to the stuttering John sniper himself, Liquid Cryptid. How's it going, buddy?
Hello, everybody. How you doing? No sniping this week, man. It is a bad time for me. Going live at 3 and 4 in the afternoon. I'm just like, can't do it.
No.
So probably he's back at home now. So next week, once he starts doing the 6 o'clocks again, I'll probably start sniping him again.
There we go. Yeah, it's the other day you were sniping the first half, then I sniped the second half. It was interesting. I think it was the first time I ever sniped a stuttering John show that wasn't fucking political. So,
it was a lot of fun in your chat, and the chat does make it a lot better.
Huge. The chat's huge. Yeah.
Like when I first started doing it back in, I think June, July, something like that. August, when I first did it, I had 0 people watching, and man, was it brutal. Having no chat to fall back on to talk to. I did once. I did one and went, yeah, this isn't fun. I'm not doing this anymore. And then shortly after, OJ started doing it.
Yeah. I hope OJ comes back. I miss OJ. OJ
Same.
was I don't believe the stuttering John thing had anything to do with it. I assume he'll be back at some point, but who knows?
No. He's got some sort of issue with Rocco, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chocolate Gin.
There we go. All right, guys. So tonight it's unavoidable, even though I think I don't want to speak for Liquid, but for myself, I am more into domestic issues, and I think he is too. But,
yeah. Great show last night.
Obviously, we got to talk about Iran, Israel, the U.S., the whole thing. Like, I don't listen to the political stuff as much as I used to, but even what I listened to this week, almost everything was on that. That's all anyone talked about. Briefly, they covered what's her face, the dog killer, getting fired, but that
Oh
was
no,
about it.
yeah, she got
Yeah, no,
fired.
yeah. Um, but it's Trump's cabinet, so I'm actually surprised he's had way less turnover this time around. So than he usually
Well, he
has.
did
So,
also like he kind of knew what he was doing this time. Like I believe the first term was just it was a lot of people saying, "Oh, you should get this guy in there. You should get that
yeah,
guy in." And they're all just political people
right,
that
right.
there's a lot of turnaround because he was just like, "Well, this isn't what I wanted to do." It's like he didn't realize how politics works.
Yeah, no.
So this time around, he got his own people, which I mean, yeah, that could be a whole thing too.
Right.
You
And if
know,
time
the,
allows, sorry, if time
yeah,
allows, we will briefly go over Joey C put out some stuff this week. Candidate Joseph Samuel Catalano. We're not going to go too in depth with it. We're not even really going to watch clips. We'll just briefly talk about it because it was his prison reform bill, which he talked about on this live stream before, and I actually found it more interesting. He talked about his daughter, what it's like for a blind person or a disabled person to go through prison, and how there are good rules and laws set in place, but they're not always followed through on and stuff like that. So I found it interesting.
I
And
also found it interesting that I like that he take a lot of our advice to heart
yeah, that
and
too.
and really upping his production now.
Yeah. Yeah, he mentioned two unnamed gentlemen who gave him advice, which
They
would be
sound very
us.
smart and
Yeah,
handsome,
very
probably
smart
married to
guys.
supermodels, very
Yes.
wealthy.
What's up, young old vibes? Happy Women's Month, second week. Congratulations on last month. All right, so here's what I got. I kind of got, as I told you beforehand, I don't really watch the full clips. I have some breaking point stuff because they're the show that has the Dem and the or whatever, the progressive and the conservative. Um, and I have one set up where we kind of early in the week where kind of the reason it kind of covers Trump and his cabinet trying to let the world know why we're doing this. And it was interesting because Rubio and I think it was Mike Johnson, they kind of said Israel forced our hand. And of course, Trump being Trump was like, no, I forced their hand. So then you get the spin or whatever. So we'll go over some of that. And then I got go over the vote just to show how the Democrats are full of shit because the votes were pretty much on party lines for this stuff, except Fetterman
Yeah.
voted with the Republicans, of course, because it's Israel, and Rand Paul voted with the Dems, of course, because it's war, so they just swapped, and other than that, it was down party lines. But if you look between the lines, the Dems are letting you know that they're actually for this. They're just pretending they're not because their base
Of
doesn't
course
want it.
they're for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They're
Of course they are.
politicians, and all of
Yeah.
our politicians are, for some reason, love Israel.
Yeah, and our media does. So I have to get the mainstream media's all pro-war propaganda going on right now, and
And as I said, I haven't really been paying attention to any sort of the serious media about this. I've said this actually. I don't know why I'm even saying that now, but I've been mostly paying attention to the pro Iran propaganda that has been fantastic. It has been so hilarious watching all these video game footage saying we just took out a dozen American planes, AI footage. We destroyed the carrier. What was it? Lincoln, the Abraham Lincoln, the
oh
carrier.
jeez,
I'm just like looking at it, I'm just laughing my balls off. It's so fucking hilarious. The stuff they're coming up with to say that Iran is winning.
so yeah, here's the problem too. Like obviously that's ridiculous, but it's like you got I wonder how many American soldiers or whatever have died because of course Israel's way over exaggerating, and I'm sure we're under saying how many. So it's always you never know what the fucking truth is.
I'm gonna go with probably 0
well, even the U.S. is
because
admitting
it's
there's
all been
some.
for
Yeah,
us, it's all been
yeah,
airstrikes. So
yeah.
it's like we basically took out their entire navy, all their oil is gone now. They took out all their oil yesterday. All their Navy and all their Air Force is all gone.
Are you sure? Because we supposedly already took out all their nukes last year, but apparently that wasn't true either.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
The whole nuke thing is like when it started last weekend, and Trump was like, "The nukes are imminent," and I'm just like, wait, wasn't that about what last year when they we took them all out? We put 12. This is another thing that I don't get about Iran, right? Like we literally
Europe
put
and gas prices.
12 bombs into 6 holes, right?
Yeah.
On them, and they're thinking, yeah, maybe we should fight back against the United States. I'm just like, dude, if I got attacked like that, I'd just be like, yeah, we're not fucking with that guy over there.
Yeah. All right. So this is I believe this is like 3 or 4 days ago. This is where we'll start it off. It's kind of the spin of like why we're doing this, and is it Israel? Is it us?
It's got to be Israel.
Of course it is. And one of the later videos, you'll of course you always got to pay attention to who donates to these people. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. And if there's an Adelson, if there's an AIPAC, if there's and anything like that, they're all over Israel. And I don't even want to sound crazy or conspiratorial, but I always question the Epstein stuff, because it doesn't matter who the fuck's president. We always back these motherfuckers. And we know there's, Israeli connections with Epstein. So I don't know. They might have the goods on some very powerful people as well. So
I guess there was some stuff in the Epstein files that were released where people found that he may have been an Israeli agent.
Yeah.
Or at least working for them. But then again, as you know, I said this weeks ago, he had a lot of very powerful people that were clients, and he's also, really involved in politics, as we found out that he's super involved, especially with Democrat politics. And he had everybody's number in his Rolodex.
Oh yeah,
for all the Democrat and probably most of the Republicans too.
Oh, it's funny.
They would do strategy sessions and stuff.
Trump was actually a Democrat for most of that too, so that's what was interesting too. So yeah. All right. Shit, I forget. I think I want to start like around the 8-minute or 12-minute mark. I can't remember now.
Good morning and welcome to Breaking Points, and welcome to all of our apparently new viewers who are looking for somewhere to get actually reasonable and honest up through somehow.
This is why Jeremy dropped out, actually.
Right, yes.
Nothing to do with it.
Sugar and Crystal look different without their makeup on.
This is right. Sorry. So this is this is what's her face? I always forget her name, but Ryan Grimm is the male. He's a progressive. He actually broke. It's funny. I like Ryan Grimm.
That's right. That's where I heard of him. Yeah, he's that guy that he while he might be the progressive, he actually like a lot of his reporting is pretty up the middle. But I think it was like he did do something recently where it was like really pro or like anti-Trump or something like that for no particular. What was it?
I'm not sure. I was gonna bring up what's funny is so he broke some of the what was his name? That dude that ran for the Supreme Court nominee under Trump, who was like the bro, like boofing.
Oh my god! I just had it too.
I can't think of his name.
Kavanaugh.
He broke Kavanaugh stuff, and the Dems loved him. But then he was also the one that broke stuff on Tara Reid against Biden. And the same Dems were like, "Oh, you can't trust Ryan Grimm." It's like, fuck off, dude. Like, so yeah, he's progressive, but he does like go after he's corruption, all that shit. So, I forget the female's name, but they are like the second unit. They usually come in after Saga and Crystal.
All right, everyone. Well, stick around for that. And BP Free 26 is the promo code for free access to premium Breaking Points and to a premium Breaking Points in Dubai. Getting hit. If you need an example of how serious, I mean, you don't need an example, but if you
I think it was
Israel
like
was going
Meet EM
God
Sense,
damn
a
it.
breakthrough
What a great
in foot
stuff.
therapy that
I know.
wraps
Tell
around
me
your
the-
foot
tell
and
me the
ankle
link.
like
Tell
a
me the-
therapeutic boot.
Brave
to
browser.
strike.
There we
So we had to.
All right, here's what it is.
Game of telephone.
Incredible. Let's actually listen to Trump himself, who was pushed yesterday in the Oval Office about comments that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, not just Marco Rubio though, Mike Johnson also had made on Capitol Hill the day before, talking about how the immediate, and Soccer and Crystal
Hey,
covered this
Joey, good to
yesterday,
see
the
ya.
immediate precipitating factors that we knew, we got intelligence that Israel was going to strike, so we had to join preemptive action. Otherwise, we would have been behind the eight ball. And Rubio said, you guys would have been doing hearings about why we didn't join with Israel in this attack. Now, Rubio said we had to do it anyway. And Johnson has said stuff to that effect as well. But they did say the immediate precipitating factor. It almost sounded like cope. It almost sounded like they were trying to scapegoat Israel for forcing their hand while also trying to own the attack. So here's how Donald Trump responded to comments A3.
Did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack if we didn't do it. Based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact.
What's the worst case scenario that you have planned for in Iran?
Well, I don't know if there's a worst case. We have them very much beaten militarily from the military standpoint. They're still lobbing some missiles. At some point, they won't even be able to do that. I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen.
Like his son.
We don't want that
Yeah.
to happen. It would probably be the worst. You go through this and then in 5 years you realize you put somebody in who was no better.
Just very casually. It could get
I'm
worse.
just, I just need
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
something here. I mean, Trump said it earlier. He said the next leader of Iran should be chosen, with my input. Trump said it. So essentially, he's saying, just saying that we need to put in a puppet leader, and we do. I'm not.
Dude, this is
At
what we
least
always do. This is what we always do. So he's no different. He's the establishment. He's the swamp.
Yeah. But we
That's-
needed to do something about Iran since it's been Iran, honestly.
But we've already done this. We did this like in the 50s. And
I know, yeah, that was
Yeah.
with the with the Shah of Iran, and then
yeah.
they voted him out, and then we got the Ayatollahs, and then now they're like they don't like the Ayatollahs, so it's just like just put in a puppet leader.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I gotta disagree. I think we stay out of this. Like, this is
Or-
what sucks because Iran's terrible. Obviously, like I hate because I don't want to sound like I'm defending Iran. They're awful, but I don't think they wanted any part of this. Like they were, supposedly complying with the nuclear stuff. Bibi's been saying for 40 years that they're weeks away from nukes, and they're not. And
Yeah, they've been eminent for 40 years.
40 years. So it's like, I don't know. I wish it's the same shit. I feel like it's like this is something Bush would have done. This is something Clinton would have done.
Is it
Sucks.
like the last time we hit Iran last year? I'll say it again. I said it before, and I'll say it again. As long as this doesn't turn into a forever war, as long as we get in there, do it what needs to be done, and then get the fuck out, and then maybe go in and negotiate. But then they put in Khomeini's son
Yeah.
as a leader. Like, first of all,
Yeah. It's a new Ayatollah.
why
Yeah.
would you even agree to that? It's like, hey, we just took out 48 of your leaders all in one strike. You want to be their leader?
Yeah, no, I know what
Yeah,
you're saying.
sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can move to a nice Western country and get a farmhouse. And
I mean, that's the problem, dude. It's
no,
gonna
I'm
sound
not having anything to do with this.
crazy, but that's the religious part of it. Like we got
Yeah.
people on the US side like Lindsey Graham and forget his name. He used to be in Arkansas, but they're saying this is biblical and they're into time shit.
Hey, anytime
But
there's
then
a conflict in the Middle East, the same people say
the
same
same
shit.
people, right? But then I'm going to say on the other side, these radical Islamists. I mean, I think they think that I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on their religion, but there's a reason they do suicide bombings. They think they're going to be with all these virgins and fucking, and
Oh, yeah, they're already calling Khomeini a martyr.
yeah. So I don't know. It's funny. The ones that don't want it are probably the ones that aren't really into the religion. They're like, yeah, I'd rather live a sweet 80 years as a rich motherfucker than go to heaven or wherever the fuck with all these virgins.
Government could be worse.
Yeah, so a lot of Democrats emerged from a classified briefing yesterday on the Hill, and all of them said, I went in, concerned about this. I came out frightened. They have no plan. They can't even, in a classified setting, keep their own stories consistent from the beginning to the end. And if you see Trump talking there, he clearly does not have,
Damn
he
it.
has not spent much time thinking this through.
The messaging through. Right.
The idea, forget the messaging, why, what happened, why he attacked, and what the goal of the attack is going to be. He said we're negotiating with these lunatics. No, Iran was negotiating with lunatics.
Okay.
Trump was
That's a
negotiating
retarded thing to say.
with Iran.
Dude, you know what's funny? I'll stop it here. Dude, when I was listening to this, the thought that entered my head is not what he said, but not what Grimm said, but what she's about to say. I think they're both lunatics. I think Trump is a fucking lunatic. And of course I think Iran a lunatic. Like, he's fucking nuts at this point. And I've not said this shit because like I don't want to be, Trump derangement syndrome and people have it. I love my wife to death, but I think she has it. Like everything's Trump. But he's starting to really fucking lose it here at the end. And it's, I don't know. Maybe he's got this illness. Maybe he doesn't have much time. He's thinking about the end. And I mean, he's talking about bombing fucking Latino countries because to kill the drug lords. He's talking about going after Cuba. He's fucking wants to go after everybody all of a sudden after he wanted the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, that is kind of getting to be a little bit concerning about how much Trump wants to blow the shit out of other countries.
Yeah.
But then again, he is, trying to negotiate. He has, tried to negotiate first. He's tried to come to some sort of an agreement, and then they won't. And then, but honestly, with this Iran thing, like, after seeing what Trump said, it's basically, why are we involved?
I agree.
Israel is ready to go, and so we wanted to, well, then let Israel do it.
Right? Is Israel our daddy? I mean, they are. I don't know why. I have theories, but it's crazy. We can be like, yeah, all right, go on, you're on your own, and then they wouldn't have gone. They wouldn't have gone with other backup. I don't believe that at all. That they would go on not knowing that we would back them up.
I have to absolutely agree with that. Then there's, of course, as it turns out, we probably don't need to go because with the Iran lobbing shit at every other Middle Eastern country, especially like Saudi Arabia, you're gonna launch a bunch of shit at Saudi. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you just want to die?
That's what I mean. This shit's crazy, dude. I mean, they even hit some European countries, didn't they? I can't remember if it was like military bases or whatever.
Oh, there was just like a whole list.
Yeah.
It's just like basically every single country within range of their missiles around them. They've lobbed missiles at. And I just when I saw Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, I was like, you do know that America, to say what you want about America and our military power, we generally try to be a bit clean about it. You know what I mean? Like we only try to strike military targets. Will do civilians get hurt? Sure, it sucks, but it happens. But we try to minimize that as much as possible.
Depends. We hit that school supposedly.
That wasn't us. But anyway,
all right, we won't get into that.
We can get to that when we get to it. We get to that when we get to it.
Can I tell you something? I actually thought it was Israel at first, but all right, go on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it was anybody, it might have been like. Anyway, we'll get to it when we get to it because we're probably going to get to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying?
we're clean. They're shooting
We
Saudi
try,
Arabia.
we try to be clean, but Saudi Arabia and those countries, dude, they will mow down an entire city to get one person.
So yeah,
They
that's
don't
where
give a fuck.
I'll agree with you in stuff like I don't think we're as clean as you're saying, but yeah, Saudi Arabia is worse. 100%. I will give you that, no doubt.
Well, what I'm trying to say is at least
Yeah.
we, at least on the face of it,
Yeah.
attempt to say that we're
Mhm.
gonna, we try to keep it just to military personnel. Saudi Arabia will make no qualms about it.
Mr.
They'll just be like,
Catalano.
"No, we're just gonna bomb the fuck out of this entire city because we think one guy's there." They will do it.
I think 40 years from now, actually, I shouldn't read this. I want to clip it, but fuck it. I think 40 years from now, this country will thank President Trump. I really believe our children or grandchildren will be good in 40 years because of someone's got to show some balls and did it.
Every president since the Ayatollahs took over Iran has in some way bombed Iran.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm going to disagree a little bit, Joey, because we've done this a million times. So, and I never liked it. Well, I shouldn't say that. When I was younger and didn't know any better, I didn't mind this shit. But,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, and also when we were younger, nuclear war was a huge threat.
yeah.
I know some of you younger kids can't understand, doing hiding under your desk, not only from earthquakes from where I was at, but also air raid sirens and bomb sirens where I lived, and doing practices for nuclear bombs and shit.
I was in middle school during the first Gulf War under George Sr. If some of you didn't know there was a first one. Fascinating.
The Omani foreign minister.
I think he was also negotiating with lunatics.
Well, maybe they're all lunatics. The Omani foreign minister, lunatics who turned out to be correct. Sometimes you can be paranoid and correct.
Yeah, that is, yes, that's
The Omani
many
foreign
such cases.
Yeah, the Omani foreign minister went on air and said, here's what they're offering: no enrichment, no stockpiling, open to talking about ballistic missiles, but you want to promise first that you're not going to attack. Because he sensed that Kushner and Witkoff just either didn't understand or weren't being serious about receiving the offer, he went on TV and told the entire world public what was on offer. For Trump to say, "Oh, they were actually about to attack," it just doesn't pass the smell test, sniff test.
No, it's not what anybody, and it's
And
also
also,
not
why
what
do we
anybody's
care
saying.
if
It's not
they're
what
going to
the
attack?
Right. Like this is the big issue with Trump is his, and I think even people that like Trump will hopefully acknowledge at least some of this. It's his ego. It's his narcissism. He doesn't want anyone to think that Israel made him do anything. This is him. Everything's
I
him.
probably
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah. So whatever the truth is, here's the problem. Yes, I think Israel wanted this. I think BB wanted this more than anybody. We can
100%.
debate what he has on our leaders. He can debate why, no matter who the fuck is president, they back Israel. I don't know. Again, we've talked about the different theories, but yeah, it's a weird thing. I'm not even saying we had to attack with Israel for them to do it, but I think as long as we were like, yeah, we got your back, they're like, okay. They wouldn't have gone in if we were like, nah,
As I said, I just don't understand why so many of our politicians are so pro-Israel. As I said, I'm not against the Jews. I think Israel should be a country that has a right to exist. It's just really wild and weird about how much influence such a small country with a small population has over the United States and our government.
Yeah, right. No, I agree, man. It is crazy, and it's tough to talk about because you don't want to be called anti-Semitic or anything like. I don't even have an issue with the Israeli people. It's the Israeli government. It's the IDF. It's Bibi. It's like I don't. And this is not my expertise by any fucking means.
Oh, neither.
But I do know that Bibi, the way he got there were certain times where he was not popular. And his whole shtick was, "I'll protect you guys. We're always Palestine's going to get us. This Iran's going to get like. So I think he likes to keep the fear up. It kind of reminds me of George of W. What every day was like, today's a code red day, today's a code orange day, like after 9/11,
Oh yeah.
keep the fear up, and I think that's part of his fucking goal and everything. Yeah, W had he did have a nice golf game. I remember the famous interview from the golf course there where he said something serious. He goes, "Now watch this shot." Fucking W. Where am I? Oh, there I am. All right.
Intelligence is saying like it is.
He's
Marco
alone,
Rubio wasn't.
He's alone
saying
making that case.
No,
Yeah.
Marco Rubio was saying they would have gotten past the point of immunity very soon, meaning if it would have been much harder to take out. This is Rubio's argument. It would have been much harder to take out the military capacity,
Because you're gonna
degrade
have
it.
3 drones.
Exactly, and so
Can't
that's
make
not
more
even.
drones. How does this even do
How
anything
is
about that?
Well, yeah, and
that's not even a thing that a country like Iran can get past the point where the United States will no longer be able to reduce or will be able to stop their military capacity.
No,
That's not a thing.
I agree. We can definitely influence it. I mean, they're a big country. They're a huge country out there, but still, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, with our military, I don't think there's anybody.
No, I agree. Yeah,
military
especially with
that
us being
could-
stationed everywhere.
Yeah, if we want to degrade your military ability, your military's ability to make war, and this goes for pretty much any country.
Yeah, we're always in reach.
Yeah, there's no point at which you're going to get to a level that we can't severely destroy and impact your ability to make war. It's just ridiculous, especially like a country like Iran.
So I agree, Joey. That's part of the reason we did this. And I always loved that very early on, one of our earliest live streams, I might have even been the same live stream. If not, they were close together. We were Cryptid and I were able to partly change each other's minds on certain things. So that's why, not trying to take this too seriously, but when Stutter and John did this, it was a joke. It was 3 guys with the exact same opinion. Whatever the mainstream media told them what their opinion was. Sorry, whatever the mainstream liberal media told them their opinion was.
Right.
So I think it's more interesting to talk with people that have their own opinions and different opinions.
on what timetable, right? So is this are you able to degrade their military to the point where, I mean, when we were talking about their nuclear capacity being obliterated in June, that was a 10-year timetable, allegedly. They'd been set back a decade. They can rebuild missiles quickly. You can't get rid of their ability to make missiles. They know how to do it. They
Drones.
have the knowledge.
You
can.
get drones from China. They're pretty cheap.
Yeah, so are we going to be right?
I know what she's saying. I mean, we can slow it down, but we can't stop
Yeah,
it.
you can't stop them. I mean, we
Yeah,
can, just weekly go. We can just, every 6 months go in and bomb the new factories.
Yeah, true.
back here in a year, in
I mean,
5 years, because
actually, I should say,
fundamentally,
Not really go in, but send a carrier group by to launch a few tomahawks out there.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the drones and all that shit kind of made it so there's like more attacks, which sucks, but it also at least made it like safer. Like you're not sending in people on fucking planes and all that, anymore. Jets like as often as you used to, because we'll just send in these manless vessels to fucking drop some bombies.
it is an ideology. There is since the IRGC in the last 10 plus years has particularly been emphasizing this idea that there's an eschatological element to Israel's existence.
Yeah.
That if you get rid of Israel, you can bring in and there are of course some far right Israelis who think that. There are some dispensationalist Christian evangelicals who think that too. But that is also something you can't eradicate with bombs in Iran.
And Rubio's claim that the reason that the U.S. attacked now is because Israel was going to attack and we were going to be attacked as a result of that. So we had to attack. Like that was the claim that he made. It's one of the most consequential public omissions made
Yes, agreed.
In decades. I would imagine that the Israelis are absolutely livid that he said that publicly. And so Rubio is now doing a...
Right, but I don't believe it. I part of me likes that Rubio said it, but I don't believe it. Like they don't. I'm not afraid of Iran getting to it. I don't know. I don't think Iran wants to fuck with us. I think if Israel went in by themselves, I think they would have attacked Israel back and waited to see if we were going to hit them. I could be wrong. I could be naive, but I don't think they want to start shit with us. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. What he said, that Rubio said they might attack us. Like,
yeah, right. Well,
let them try.
Right.
Then we could go in. If, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As soon as an Iranian missile or whatever shows up over United States airspace, the public's going to be pretty behind any person that's going to.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't
roll
believe
right through Iran.
Right. That's a great point. That's another reason I don't believe it because number one, I mean, we're not that close to Iran. Like obviously we can intercept, anything they send our way.
Yeah. Well, we'll know it as soon as it's launched. And, as it's going our way. Like we'd have hours and hours, like many long time and hours to know that missile or whatever is on its way.
Yeah. And if the best way to get public support is to let them do that and be like, hey, they tried attacking us, we intercept. Like that's another reason. I don't believe it. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know why, even though like Trump's ego is involved. Like I don't think Trump's being completely honest, but he might even be more honest than Rubio here. Like I unless Rubio, Israel did force our hand. It's just not the reason he's saying. It's that reason we can't fucking figure out. They have shit on our most powerful people is what I'm guessing. I believe Rubio is going to address it here. He's going to
tiny bit of cleanup around that. So let's see how he's kind of finessing this with a 4.
Yesterday, you told us that Israel was going to strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get.
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked.
Okay. No, were you the one that? Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said, you were asking me that. You from that follow up, and I said no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program. That Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks. That decision had been made. The president systematically made a decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation, not the question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. If you're going to play these statements, you need to play the whole statement, not clip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
Is there a plan in place to evacuate Americans before the attack took place?
Well, that's the plan we're trying to carry out. The problem is, or the challenge we are facing is airspace closures. If a country closes their airport, for example, in some cases the airports have been hit. So the airport in Kuwait was hit. So if an airport's been attacked or the airspace is closed, then we can have the planes lined up to go, but we can't get them to land because we don't have the permissions to land there. So that's the challenge. It's going to take a little time because we don't control the airspace closures. That said, there may be more people out there that need help. We need to know who you are. So please, I'm asking the media, publicize the phone numbers and the website because we need people to call in so we have their name, we have their contact information, we have their location and their request.
Yeah, the context there is that there are thousands of Americans who want to be evacuated from this war zone. If you put the two pieces together, Rubio is effectively saying that because of the timing of when this happened, which was driven by Israel, that he can't get these Americans evacuated at this point. So Senator Tom Cotton was also trying to clean this up a little bit, but just
this will be the final part of this one I'll play, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Ended up reiterating the point. Let's do a 5.
Israel faced an existential risk, and they were prepared to strike Iran alone. If that happened, Iran was very likely to target our troops. That may address the question of why now? Why not 2 weeks ago? Why not 2 months from now?
What troops? Where?
The president, though, did not want.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, we got bases nearby, but it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, they tried that. That's what you want to do. Is you want to attack the UAE. That's
Well, again, remember last year, we attacked whatever we hit, right? And then Iran did the symbolic attack by letting us know what bases they were going to attack so we could get our soldiers out. That's what they did after we attacked them. So I don't think that they would have tried to kill our soldiers if Israel hit them and we didn't. Like I just don't believe it. Everything that's happened beforehand just proves that's what our government and our military industrial complex was thinking. This is just all spin.
It's got to be what it is. Just we need a war because we need to pay the military industrial complex has been getting a little light. So
yeah. We started to end a few of these. You know what I mean? So
Trump's been ending so much war that
we need some. They need some money. They need some money, and of course, again, I'm not anti-Semitic, but there's just something with Israel, man.
Because I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this going, well, just let Israel do what Israel do.
Yeah.
Why do we have to be involved?
Well, we're already giving them money and weapons as it fucking is. Like, fuck it. Yeah, Jesus.
Our troops in harm's way. The more fundamental question, though, is why? Why did we have to carry out this operation against Iran? And as I said, that's because they have a vast missile arsenal that far exceeds our combined missile defenses, and it gets worse every single month. And that is an unacceptable threat to the United States.
So, Emily, we were going to do it anyway at some point in the next maybe few months.
Yeah.
Even though we were pretending to do these negotiations. But Israel just decided to do it, so we went with them.
And Trump also maybe forced their hand. Remember, that's his argument.
Trump forced their hand. Yes. Israel,
All right, yeah, that's just kind of what we get across what supposedly got this started. It's a clusterfuck. They're lying to us. It's
obviously
somewhere. Yeah. Like our government does. They're lying to us. Jesus Christ. All right. So we're going to the next one I got kind of set up. This actually time-wise might work out. It took roughly what I thought it would take. Yeah, this next one's going to be on the vote on the whatever the fuck it was called. I can't remember. Roughly what I thought it would take. Did I just put us up? No. Yeah, this next one. I fucking put us up. I did that last time. The vote.
Hi, us.
Jesus
good, guys.
Christ, I'm fucking retarded. I saw the fucking screen. Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. Sorry. Yeah. But I know, dude. John's wearing off. I should just start fucking sniping John. Fucking acting like his ass. Dude, I sent him, I don't know if you saw. Did you see the $2 super chat I sent him yesterday?
I believe so. Did I? I think so. Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what he'd say. And Ava was on, so I wanted to see what she'd say. But I was like, Echo had sent like a two
That's
quid.
right. Echo was on. Yeah.
He had sent like a super chat that John kind of like ignored and whatever. So Echo's like, that was a waste of $2. And I heard John say something like, "Is this pineapple? Is this like a real thing? This pineapple or something like that?" So I just sent one saying like, "Hey, Pineapple's a huge fan of yours. You should have him on." And I figured coming from me, I didn't know what John said. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'll have him on." And I was like, "Yeah, he's a straight shooter." He's like, "Oh," so of course John saying he'll have someone on doesn't mean anything, but that'd be interesting. That
would be interesting to have Echo on.
Yeah, see what he says. All right, this is on the the Senate voted, and then they'll kind of go into how behind the lines, how Jesus Christ, my brain isn't working today. How the Dems, even though they're voting against this, their words are letting you know they have no problem funding it, meaning they are totally for this. They're just the Dems are just trying to trick their fucking base because their base is against this. Well, the Republican base, I think a lot of them aren't really like this, but the Republican base is still firmly behind Trump. So what he does is,
and also, what happened to we need to do something about Iran and they're killing the protesters. Wasn't that these same people who are against the attack on Iran saying just a few weeks ago saying we need to do something about Iran killing these protesters?
yeah, dude, you know what sucks is like I'm not copping out. I don't remember the protesting, but I 100% believe you because that's how they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally believe that that's what they said weeks ago, and now of course they're
Well, that was the
Yeah.
big deal until we started bombing Iran
bombing.
and
Yeah,
took out all the leaders.
yeah. Well, like I said, they're gonna
And
cover
then those
how.
same people are like, "Well, why are we taking out all their leaders?" Like, motherfucker, you were just saying we need to do something about the leadership, about the government killing all these protesters and people that want to get rid of the Ayatollahs.
Yeah, they're full of shit. Like I always bring up Bill Maher sometimes. Like Bill Maher, I know he's not a politician, but he tricked me for many years because he was always polling for policies that I was into, like democratic social, like universal health care, stuff like that. He literally called years and years ago. He called Bernie Sanders an American hero, and as soon as it looked like Bernie might get the nomination, he did a 180. It's like, oh, I don't really believe that. I'm just placating to the fucking. I'm rich. I'm just placating to the people that watch me. So they're full of shit.
The Senate voted yesterday on this war powers resolution. We could put this up on the screen. It failed effectively along party lines. You had Fetterman voting with the Republicans, Rand Paul voting with the Democrats, and so it failed 47 to 53. And I think it's noteworthy. Both that you had all the Democrats except Fetterman hang together, but more importantly, there's been a lot of talk, and you see a lot of kind of like MAGA influence, or some number of MAGA influencers, Megyn Kelly, right? Obviously, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones are opposed to this. You see some people like that. The war room people are uncomfortable with what's going on. So you see a lot.
That's a kick in the balls. Me being lined up with Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes on something. Fucking Christ.
Yeah, so you got to be wrong. That's all I got. Well, maybe not Alex Jones, but yeah, if you agree with Nick Fuentes, then you really need to reevaluate what your opinions are.
It's funny because I think what's her face has been getting some abuse too lately. Who I fucking can't stand. Geez, I'm blanking on her name. I'm Young Old Vise. If you're still here, I'm not racist. But I have to say this. The black female that the right wing used to use all the time to go after blacks and females. Candace Owens. Thank you. I couldn't think of her name. She's been against a lot of this, so now they've been going after her too. I was like, God damn it, I'm agreeing with Candace Owens.
I've never liked Candace Owens. She's 100% a grifter.
Huge grifter. Yeah.
Well, she used to be real left wing. She even maintained a website that doxed all Republican influencers and Republican politicians. They had a database that gave out all the information that they had on anybody any right wingers.
I'm not surprised.
And then like a year later, she took it down and then became super right wing.
Yeah, dude. I remember something came out on her that because she tried saying that there's no racism in the country. Because Obama was elected, whatever it was, there's no racism. And then if they found out that when she was like 17 or 18 or something like that, she accused I forget what happened. Something happened to her by the son of the sheriff, and she was the NAACP backed her in some lawsuit against the racist sheriff and all this stuff. So I was like, yeah.
Well, what happened is she figured out that a black woman would make a lot of money being a conservative voice rather than a liberal voice.
Like if you can, when I first got into this, I said like, there's nobody more, not powerful, but more valuable than someone that goes against their own. Like, we can if we can get a woman to go against women things or black, like the only thing I had is I'm an atheist. If all of a sudden I found God, I'm sure I could make, if I had a voice, obviously I'm small, so nothing would happen. But if I was a famous atheist, and then all of a sudden I was like, I found God, I'm sure I could make a killing pretending I was even.
Well, Candace wasn't really famous before. She didn't get famous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have to give her that.
Until she became a Republican.
Yeah.
And we all know the only reason she went, conservative and went in that direction is because conservatives and people on the right would literally bolster any young attractive black woman that wanted to be a conservative and have a conservative voice. They'd lift them up immediately because there's the whole the whole racism thing. They need to keep that squashed. They want
And-
to say we're not racist
And I think
so badly.
what really annoyed me is is like she's not very intelligent. Like she's like
No.
I think they could have done a better job finding a more intelligent one to carry water for them, but it is what it is.
A lot of like loud voices who are on the right, who are opposed to this war with Iran. But if you look at the polling, the Republican base, they're largely on board with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it is more of an online phenomenon, the opposition, than the reality among the Republican base, which just says like basically, oh, Trump is doing this, so we support it. So I think the fact that the Republicans hung together and did
I'm going to say this has nothing to do with Trump. This is 100% backing Israel. It doesn't matter who the president was; they'd probably be there. Imagine our politicians are backing Israel.
No. She said the base, like the voter base.
Oh, the voter base?
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
I
Yeah.
thought she was talking about the real the politicians.
Well, if she is, then I'm wrong. But I thought she was talking about the voter base in that particular instance. But
Either way, I think
who
the
knows?
voter
Yeah.
base is probably. I don't know. There are those people, of course, the sycophants that'll just because it's Trump or whatever their favorite politician is, they'll just go with it.
like
For my own, I'm just like, as long as it's not a forever war, man,
well,
But on the other
how
hand,
it
it's
is,
like Israel was going to do it. Why don't you just let them do it?
yeah. Trump,
Why do we
and-
got to be involved?
Well, Trump has his fanatics. The Dems they don't have fanatics, but they got plenty of people like Stuttering John who, oh, Biden did it, so I agree with it. Obama did it, so it's like, it's so not.
That's
It's
just it. Every
yeah.
politician's got their sycophants. So
Yeah.
did not remember this is not
whatever.
even about like authorizing war. This is a vote to say like this power rests with us, that even the Susan Collins of the world, who is very likely to get her clock cleaned by Graham Plattner in the fall, even they felt like the right
Graham.
political calculus was to vote against this. Now you have to factor into that not only the like political base and the fear of Trump and his ire, you also have to factor into that the money from AIPAC and other
Ideology.
Israel lobby types. And the ideology too, that's a great point too, is some of these people just genuinely believe in endless war. Many of them genuinely believe in endless war. And so that's how you end up with the situation where even though you have, some 70% of the country that is like, no, we don't want this, you still have every Republican Senate, save for Rand Paul, saying, we're going to let the president do whatever he wants.
Right, and that is the scary part. To stick on that, one of the things I personally hate is people
as if the
wish
Democrats
casting
aren't.
analysis. So there's been, like you just said, there's a lot of people like, oh, this is a screw you to the base. And I never use those words. You know what I say? I say it's a screw you to the country.
Yeah.
Because the base is always going to stick with him. I grew up in Bush country. 5,000 U.S. troops were killed. They didn't care, okay? They all stuck with him till the end. He's my president. I'd like to have a beer with him. You remember all that stuff? They said that till 2009. That's what a lot of these people were saying. Today, they would all claim that they were all against it. Not true. I remember. But that's the reality. The base.
I'm not going to lie.
Now the rest.
I was all for a Desert Storm.
Yeah, I was hoping Young Vibes was probably too young to remember that too. I believe she's from Bush country, because I know she talks about
even though we were all a little confused by it, but
well,
you
yeah,
know, we're going into Iraq because of 9/11 that was done by Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, who's our ally. Like I'm
Like,
let me figure this
okay.
out. Yeah, yeah. Like I wasn't. It's back then. I was more of a like social liberal. Like I used to go for social causes and didn't really get into. I didn't know nearly enough about politics back then. Like I remember how naive. I remember even thinking, like I wanted Al Gore to win, thought he got screwed. But I remember thinking, we might be better off with a Republican if we're getting attacked. Like because I remember, if you didn't know much, that was the ideology. To me, it was Democrats. They're better in the homeland, helping you domestically. Republicans, they're better protecting you from the bad guys and blah blah blah. So
Yeah, that was kind of the general sort of
The-
thoughts or
yeah.
rule of thumb for that sort of thing. Yeah.
of the country, independents, the 51%, let's say, who voted for him, that's a whole other story. Those are the people who are much more on the fence, people who are not self-identified actual Republicans. Many of them, and one of the things that can explain this number is when you start self-identifying other than as a Republican and then you disagree, it shoots the Republican number support up for the war. But let's not make any mistake that all of these people are loyal to Donald Trump and to party ideology itself. I will say in the Senate case vote, what you see with the Susan Collins and the Murkowskis and all of them is I actually think Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, they vote against Trump all the time, right? And they've been able to survive. It's very telling to me that the one thing they won't vote against him on is Iran, because they support the operation line. I don't think that we can adequately describe the way that in Washington brain, this is a justified operation to the extent that it's gone bad. It's because Trump hasn't done it the process way, properly.
He didn't brief us.
Yeah, he didn't brief us properly. It's like, that's all they care about.
It's very easy to explain. Israel.
Yeah, I also think he was covering like these old school politicians. They claim to care so much about decor and you know, how dare you didn't inform me, or how dare you didn't address me this way, but they're all fine with the war and all that shit. So
they don't care about the fact that we're in a bad conflict, period, end of story. This is going to be just like 2004. The war Democrats, they're already emerging, and we're seeing some of this. And yes, just like 2003, there are only extremely limited, count on one hand the type of people who will speak out either against party or against ideology to say this is ridiculous. One of them is Congressman Thomas Massie. Here he is. Let's take a listen.
As to why we launched this preemptive war, the president says we had to strike first because an Iranian strike was imminent. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense conceded there was no evidence of an imminent Iranian strike. Some told us this war was about nuclear weapons, but 6 months ago, we were assured our last strike on Iran decimated their nuclear program. So which is it? I think the most candid answer came from the Secretary of State, who told the press that Israel forced our hand and dragged us into this war.
There is Congressman Thomas Massie. He's going to be one
We
of
need
the
more
very
Republicans like Massey.
dude, I like Massey and Ro Khanna, like him. Those two are the two pushing this. They're the two pushing the Epstein shit. And I've actually met
Massey
Ro.
was the only Republican that voted against releasing.
100%. And I'm even going to give, so I was going to go off. I'm even going to give, even though I'm a huge fan of Ro, like I met Ro. I've been tempted to put the video up, but I get afraid of people reverse video searching and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I have a feeling that Ro is going to run for either Senate or president or something. Massey is killing his, as long as it's MAGA, he's killing his career. So I give him more credit than I give Ro. Like, I know Ro's going against the establishment Democrats, but there's a lot of, you know, people doing that these days. So I give Massey a ton of fucking credit.
Yeah, like when he was the only Republican to vote against releasing the Epstein files, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, who is this retard? And then I heard him explain it, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The explanation being what happened, which is he didn't want the victims to end up having their information put out there. And he was given assurances that would not happen, and it happened immediately.
100%. 100%.
Republicans, if at all, who end up voting against it. And look, this is a valiant effort from Congressman Massey and from Ro Khanna, others, Tim Kaine, who forced the War Powers Act vote. But look, now let it all be on record. It's out there now. We can hold these people at the very least accountable. You did not even want to vote for the ability to vote, whether this is something that you have an interest in. Okay, pathetic. We got you. We hear you loud and clear. What's going to come next is this supplemental funding, though. That's the big question.
Well, and that is the purpose of these votes. I mean, they're not even, imagine a world where they actually did pass the War Powers Resolution. It's not like we really think that would constrain Trump. What this is about is putting people on the record for history so that forever it is marked down in the history books who did what, when. Because again, you're going to have so many people after the fact when this thing, I mean, it's already gone bad. I don't know how anyone's supporting it already, but when it is an undeniable, complete catastrophe, and Americans
What is she
reject it
saying?
overwhelmingly.
This isn't popular, man.
No, what I'm saying. We just want to have it on record. Everything's on record.
I get what you're saying.
That's how I'm listening. She said, "Oh, this resolution would put this and that on record. Every fucking thing's on record." And also, the whole War Powers Resolution Act was just a fucking performance. It's totally performative. We haven't had Congress had a vote for any kind of a conflict or war that we've been in since World War II. World War II was the last one that we actually had congressional approval to go to war. And after that, every single conflict that we've been remember, it's a conflict.
Yeah, it's always a
not
conflict.
war.
Yeah.
It's a conflict. It's a what is it? Security, or was it a police thing? It's it's not war.
Yeah, Vietnam wasn't even a war to these people.
No, it was a conflict.
Yeah.
We had a fucking draft, and
I know,
and it wasn't approved by Congress as an actual war. So
no, I agree.
That's why I think this is just all performative.
So
by the Democrats.
Crystal being a lefty, I think this is I know what she's saying. Like they're trying to dodge even having the vote for this stuff because they don't want whatever. Like I remember who was it? Was it Pelosi? I forget who it was. It was whoever the last Dem speaker was, and the progressives were trying to get concessions for their fucking votes or whatever. And one of the things being proposed, it was funny. It was actually by Jimmy Dore who got it going, even though he's not in politics. Was for our vote, we want to vote on universal health care or Medicare for all. We know it's going to fail, but we want people on the record to see who's against the Americans getting health care and stuff like that. So I think that sort of thing's in her head because that's progressives. We know we can't win on anything because even the fucking Democrats are against us. So because they're establishment Dems. So it's, I don't know, the best we can get is these symbolic small fucking victories and stuff like that to hold them accountable. Now, the reason I wasn't too thrilled with it was it's not Medicare for all is 0 chance of passing. So there will be Democrats who are against it who will vote for it anyway, knowing it's not going to pass. And then now we'll have these people that were against it acting like they were for it. So I think it was going to backfire, but I think that's the sort of thing she was going for here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In a way that is, again, undeniable. You're going to have all kinds of people pretending they opposed it from the jump. So at least for these politicians, we can get them on the record. Where did you stand? What did you do at the beginning? Did you even have the guts to claim the power for Congress to weigh in on this thing? Or did you just say, yes, sir, Mr. President, whatever mayhem and madness you want to do, go ahead and go for it. So let's go and put C3 up on the screen because
yeah, I think she was just.
I get what she's saying.
Yeah, I
she
guess.
She wants people. She wants the senators on the record of who is for and against it, and honestly, who gives a fuck?
You know what's funny? Because
it's performative, and it doesn't matter because Trump hasn't declared war, so Congress has no say in it. I mean, they could probably pass a resolution to end it.
Being the progressive, I obviously, like I said, I like watching this because it's both sides. But I have to be honest, Sagar needs to, even though I don't agree with Sagar for the most part, he needs to stand up. Like Crystal runs this fucking ship. She just steamrolls the fucking talking points or whatever. And I don't know. He's got to try to make this more 50-50. It's at least 60-40. Crystal dominating these fucking shows.
Sagar's point, the next battle is over funding. Now, have you heard anyone in the media say, how will you pay for it? How will you pay for it? The roughly billion, probably more dollars a day that are being spent currently. The $50 billion reported supplemental funding that they're going to ask Congress for. This is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, says Congress will pass Iran war funding when appropriate. So $50 billion more. What else could that $50 billion be spent on? Do you have any ideas in your head? Maybe healthcare, maybe housing, maybe education,
that.
maybe
I hate that
infrastructure,
fucking
maybe jobs.
No, I'm with it because every time it's something like that, it's like, how are we going to pay for it? But whenever it's tax cuts for the rich or war, they never.
No, I
we get the
understand
money.
that, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: it wouldn't have been spent on any of that anyway.
No, you're right. Because of the corrupt.
I'm not
fucking,
trying to
No, I know what you're
excuse the spending. I'm just trying to say I hate that excuse of, oh, we could have spent it on this, we could have spent it on that. Like, no, it just would have gone into another politician's pocket. So the fucking
Yeah, no, it would have.
it would have been spent on something other ridiculous thing. So
100%. Yeah, again, it's just someone who's similar beliefs as Crystalite. The point I think she's trying to make, and it sucks because we've made it a million times, but it never sticks, is that the government never asks where money's coming from when it goes to help the rich or it's war with it, but they always ask where it's coming from when it goes to help the middle class or the poor. So
all kinds of things that could be done with this $50 billion rather than, killing little girls in Iran or.
Jesus. How many Democrat administrations and when they've had, majorities in the House and Senate and the White House. Look at all the social program. Look at all the increased spending on healthcare and and all the other things that came out of that. None.
No, 100%, 100%. Yeah, the Democrats are like. I think it sucks. It doesn't because like Trump's been president since we started doing these live streams, but I almost get more. I get angrier, and I think that I can think of like one or two live streams where I get angrier at Dems because the Republicans aren't really pretending to support what I support,
Right.
They claim they care about the troops and working class because both sides do. But other than that, they don't really claim to care but the Dems, they try to act like they care what I care about, and they fucking don't. So I actually get angrier at them because they're supposed to be my representatives in this whole fucking thing. And they're not. They represent the fucking rich. They represent their donors. They represent Israel. All that shit.
That's why I hate whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh, we could have spent it on healthcare. We could have spent it on this. We could have spent it on that." And it's like, well, we won't. We wouldn't have anyway.
Yeah, right.
I'm not trying to, I'm just saying I hate that particular line of reasoning, just in general. Whenever, and it's always a person on the left that says it. Oh, we could have spent it on this, or what if we put the money into that and put it into this? It's like, well, here's the thing. We're not, and it wouldn't have been. So,
yeah, the one way the right does do it is when it comes to immigrants. It's always like, we need to help. What about the homeless vets? It's like, agreed. We need to help them first, but we're not helping them. You're not.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, they
so,
like to trot out the homeless vets, and it's like, well, then help them.
Yeah, right. And that's something we should all fucking agree on. Like, it's crazy that that's just not happening. This fucking set them off the war.
Regardless of, that's actually a really good point. Regardless of any other kind of spending or what this, that, and the other thing, there should never be a homeless vet.
No, agree. And this is coming from someone who's way too much of a pussy to sign up for the military. Yeah.
Just on the face of it. Like, it should not happen. And the support should always be there.
Yeah,
I think it is a lot of times. Don't forget, I used to hang out with a lot of homeless people a long time ago, and a lot of them just prefer to be homeless. So,
yeah, some do, but yeah, it just
the homeless that you see that are always homeless actually prefer to be homeless, or they're drug addicts or whatever and stuff like that. But they prefer to be homeless. If you don't want to be homeless, the average time of homelessness is about 6 months for people. But yeah, you generally, if you're long-term homeless, it's because you want to be homeless.
Yeah, or you're an addict and just stuck in it.
Or that's goes along with wanting to be homeless.
Sure, I guess.
Lives in the Middle East. Seems like the American taxpayers probably have some better ideas of how they would like these funds to be spent. And yet, from the quote-unquote opposition party, you can put this up on the screen, Politico reached out to a bunch of senators on the Democratic side to say, hey, you have expressed some concerns about this war, and all of the Democrats, save for Fetterman, have expressed those concerns, and all of them, save for Fetterman, voted for the War Powers Resolution. What about this supplemental funding? Schumer before you can feel satisfied about a supplemental, and I haven't seen it, you have to know what the real goals are and what the end game is. You see there, he's not ruling it out. He's saying, oh, we just need more information. We need a better briefing. Okay, again, process concern, not opposition. Delaware Senator Chris Coons, who absolutely sucks all the time, a senior Democratic appropriator, says he expects the Pentagon will send Congress a supplemental funding request and vowed to, quote, make sure we are making all the investments we can to keep U.S. troops safe.
After 13 years, I did not expect to be acting like a girlfriend again, but here we are. Thank you, Blue
Big
Chew
movies.
Coons said the Trump administration
Blue
needs
Chew.
to testify at an open hearing so
What have you
American
been
people can
checking
get
out?
questions answered about the failures in planning that led to some of the challenges, losses, and mistakes.
Ads are
in this
targeted.
Damn heart pills. Damn
Says,
blood pressure pills. What's going on?
How's
war,
things with the
okay?
wife?
So again, process, they need to speak to the American people, but ultimately he's going to fund it, is bottom line what he's saying there. Our friend Alyssa Slotkin, she said, I don't rule anything out, comma, I mean, we're in it. Tim Kaine also said something similar, even though he's
pause
been
that real
great
quick?
on leading the push for this war power.
What Metal said. I have told him almost every week that we've been on,
Yes.
for maybe about 4 or 5 months, to get Brave browser. I've been using it for about a decade. It's great. It's plug and play. It removes all the ads from YouTube, blocks them all. You don't have to set anything up. Just use it. Now, there's different things you can do with it. They have a basic attention token, so they have a crypto involved where you can get ads served from Brave, and you can actually make money from it. But in as I said, in like a decade, I think I made like $5. Like I used to just automatically transfer it out to different creators that I like. The 50 cents here, there, whatever I made money, because I don't really check out the ads. But you don't have to be involved with that at all. And you just install it and you go. And it's based on Chrome, so any Chrome extensions or whatever that you like work perfectly with it. It just basically it blocks all ads everywhere for everything, but it's really good at blocking YouTube ads. It blocks Rumble ads. It blocks website ads. When you go to a website and it says the advertisers there, it blocks everything right out of the box.
Yeah,
Brave browser.
Last time I got around it, the Joey C thing, because I downloaded and just edited all the shit. But Pineapple worked me like a slave this weekend, so I didn't have time to do these. But yeah, one of these days I'll have to get on it.
So that's my PSA for the day. Everybody listening, now and in the future, you don't like ads, don't want to pay for premium on whatever your favorite video site is. It even works on Twitch. Brave browser.
I should tell Jake Hudson, because he always wants money for YouTube Premium, and I made peace with Jake the other day, and I streamed with him twice this week, and he was it actually felt nice, but he was hitting me up for money on stream and off stream backstage. He was going hard in the paint. He's hitting up the wrong guy.
I ditched Premium a while ago because I realized I only really used Premium for being able to listen to it on my phone without having to have it open. But then my phone would always just shut it off anyway.
Oh, really?
After a while. So I was just like, why do I even have Premium? I use Brave, so I don't get ads anyway. It's like the only premium function that I use was to keep it open, and that doesn't work. I could do it with the Brave browser on my phone. I could do background play with that. And that works great. So I was like, fuck it, I'm ditching Premium.
But when it comes to funding the war that you claim to oppose, you're open to voting for the funding of the war? I mean, this makes no sense. If you oppose the war, you oppose funding the war. It is that simple. And so the amount of capitulation, the amount of, frankly, ideological support from the Democratic Party is insane. They are so disconnected from the base of the party. And so with their vote on the War Powers Resolution, the fack that they stayed lockstep, except for John
notorious for
Fetterman.
doing whatever Trump wants them to do.
No, they do whatever they Yeah, they
You
do
know, when
whatever
it's the
their donors want.
Republicans, well, I was saying, when it's the Republicans, oh, they're just following Trump. They'll just do whatever Trump says.
Just-
And then when it's the Democrats, it's why aren't you following your? It's none of that. You know, I'm just trying to pull this back
I
around.
gotcha,
to
I gotcha.
Israel.
That is a proof of how strongly, adamantly, the base is opposed to this thing, and not just from a you didn't brief us concern, but outright, directly opposed to this thing. They knew they could not vote against this war powers resolution because there would be hell to pay from the base. You saw Mark Kelly say like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this thing. And I guarantee you he got slammed with phone calls. And next thing you know, guess how he voted? He voted for it. So they are under tremendous pressure from the base. And yet they think they can get away with voting to fund this thing. It is absolutely insane to me.
Well, trip down memory lane back in 2007, Nancy Pelosi, you might remember this, where she tried to fund the Iraq, because it was right after the 2006 victory for the midterms. Pelosi was negotiating funding with the Bush administration. And what she did is she put a withdrawal timeline on the funding for the administration. But even that was something that many of the progressive Democrats who were inside at the time were saying. What they were saying is like, no, you need a much faster withdrawal timeline because they didn't want to support the surge. Bush ended up vetoing it, and they did eventually win that entire funding battle, which of course kept American forces in Iraq. What they wanted to do was they wanted to fulfill their claim that they had, right, was basically, we ran on ending the war in Iraq, and the president now wants to surge troops in Iraq. We cannot then continue to fund what we ran against. But the moderate leaders in the Democratic Party, so-called, like Nancy Pelosi and others, who became the speaker, said, no, we can't do that because we have to play ball with the Bush administration. And so what they ended up doing actually was kind of knifing what had happened and continuing to fund that, not to mention what happened with Barack Obama. You're watching the exact same thing now.
I don't know if I'm just a huge pessimist, but I almost get like frustrated watching, like I like Saga and everything, but it's like, I think he still has faith in the institution. And it's like, I don't think this is how this goes. I don't think that the Democrats are like, boy, we can't fund something we ran against. I don't think they give a fuck. Yeah, so I'm not, he's got more faith in the Dems and the institution than I fucking do. I'm like, no, I don't think they're struggling with that at all. I think the only struggle they have is like, geez, I don't want to piss off the voters too much because I want to get reelected, but I really gotta, I mean, politicians go against what they ran on all the fucking time, my whole fucking life. I don't think it's a struggle.
Exactly. And of course, they'll be against it, up front and then fund it because, they're also in the pocket of the military-industrial complex.
Yep.
They need their buddies. They know their buddies with them too. They need to line the pockets of all their military friends.
Now play out.
I mean, let's not forget Kamala Harris, the last Dem to run for president, was side by side with fucking Liz Cheney. I mean, come on. Was it Liz? I think it was Liz. Yeah, Liz, fucking Dick Cheney's daughter. So let's not act like they're not down the fucking for the military here. Military industrial complex, not our soldiers.
Right.
Can't say, especially in this case, Iraq was a whole other story, right? Because we had our troops on the ground, etc. Obviously many Democrats had voted for it. In this case, if you're going to be against it, then how can you continue to fund it? It's ridiculous, right? If you're saying that the best possible thing would be to force the administration's hand by saying, no, you can't have more money to continue operations, you need to figure out some sort of diplomatic solution.
Because
that is the best way to go about it. But they failed to do that under Bush.
Right, that's what I mean. Like Sagar, it's almost sweet how he actually thinks this is being run. Yeah.
Yeah, they voted against it because that was the thing to do for the party, and to keep it good with them. And then they voted for the funding because that's good for their for their pockets.
Right, like Sagar, Schoolhouse Rock isn't a real thing. Like where they showed us how a bill was actually passed. Unfortunately, that's not how it's really fucking passed these fucking days.
Right.
They don't show you the lobbyists. They don't show you fucking.
They also failed to do it multiple times under Obama. This is how the bipartisan consensus keeps going. And the more that the money is flowed, that's the only thing that allows the administration to continue to operate. That's the disaster, I think, that we're seeing in all of this. So we have no war powers. I mean, Glenn made this point, I thought it was so good, is that when the framers put together this idea of the Constitution, they actually theorized that the co-equal branches of government would fight as hard as they possibly could for maintaining their own institutional power within the system. And they actually never could have imagined that you would have an entire branch that would just hold up its hand and surrender to what was going on in the White House. And this is a political culture now which has been normalized over the last 25 years, from Bush onward, because, and I want to make this the most, because they do not want to bear the political consequences of their actions. Even the Democrats, like you're saying, Mark Kelly and all these people, they'll vote for the War Powers Resolution. But the real fight is going to be on funding. The real fight is going to be on how you're actually working to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen. They're happy to take the vote to tell the base they didn't vote for it. But are you actually going to do everything to keep it away? No. And then same with many of the so-called anti-war Republicans. I mean, Josh Hawley, some of these other guys, they all voted for this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is the most consequential war vote you will ever take as a member of Congress, at least so far, in your entire term. And you're like, nope, actually, not only does the president have the ability, we don't even have the ability to weigh in. It's ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
Yeah,
to
that's right.
hold that position.
Yep, the only Republican who voted against it was Rand Paul.
Right.
And then in the House, you've got Thomas Massie, and we'll see if there are any others who join him whatsoever. I wanted to show this as well. This is a retired Marine who protested.
Did you see this week? This Marine that had his arm broken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very pro-Iran. He's got
no,
it's Palestine. He's even on his social media and stuff. He like goes around in Palestinian garb and stuff like that. So it's just
I saw pictures.
So it's just like, okay, I don't think a member of the U.S. Military really should be supporting a foreign terrorist organization.
So this is where I gotta be honest. Like, I saw the pics, and I literally did not look into it at all. I don't know if I have no idea the story behind the pics, so I can't really weigh in on it. I was more what got me is I thought like this senator was just trying to get his spotlight moment. It's like, chill out, dude. Let security take care of it. Like,
that was obviously that senator trying to get that spotlight moment. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you find out, I think he was a Navy SEAL at one point, so it was like,
yeah. I mean, it's not like he wasn't trained for that. It's
right.
You're a senator. Stand back, dude. I mean, yeah, we get it. You were a SEAL or whatever. Yeah, he's in the military. But dude, that's not your job.
Yeah, chill.
And let's put this up on the screen, guys. This is C5, and you can see him being wrestled out. That guy in the suit, that is a freaking Senator Sheehy. And in the process of doing this and trying to remove this man, who, I don't know if you heard what he just said there. He said, nobody wants to die for Israel. I think that's a pretty salient point. In any case, they broke this man's arm, including this senator, who for some reason gets involved here with, the police trying to remove this retired Marine. I mean, just wild.
All right, that's pretty much the end of that one. The only thing I got is the kind of hypocrisy one, since it went after the Dems. We'll go after the Republicans here, and then if we have time, we'll see. We'll talk about Joey for 5 minutes, but this last one's just it's kind of showing what people said then, what they say now, and then I think they touch on the donors, which is what I find most interesting when it comes to this stuff. I kind of forgot. Sagar has I forget what it is, but he has like a personal relationship with JD Vance, so I know like part of this is like tough for him, I guess.
Hypocrisy, something very near and dear to my heart these days, looking back a little bit on what did all these people say who are currently in power about war with Iran whenever they had a chance to make their pitch to the American people. So we've supercut a few of the people who are currently in power and some of the things that they said in the past compared to what you see on your screens today. So without much more, let's take a listen.
And I also know the cost on the American people. The trillions of dollars that we've spent since 9/11 alone on waging these wasteful regime change wars, how those wars have undermined our national security and how they have strengthened terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So when we talk about a potential war with Iran, which is looking like we are walking very dangerously down that path, what I think is important for the American people to know is that a war with Iran would make the war in Iraq, look like a cakewalk. The devastation and the cost would be far greater than anything we've ever experienced before.
Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country. And again, I'm not saying we stick ourselves into the Middle East and start a war here, but like we recognize, okay, Israelis, Gulf Arab states don't like Iran. So let the Israelis and the Gulf Arab states provide the counterbalance to Iran. America doesn't have to constantly police every region of the world. We should empower people to police their own regions of the world, right? Yeah, nice. And one, we would save a lot of money. Two, we'd save a lot of focus. But unfortunately, I think Harris, she's got this weird thing where I actually think she kind of likes war. Maybe she feels like a tough guy about it. Yeah. I don't know why it is. And they seem to be sort of sleepwalking us into war with Iran.
So here's one thing I will give them is Harris. Yeah, I had a bad feeling on Harris in war too. Like, she wouldn't even speak out again, something with Israel. Even though the Democratic voter, the way she could have separated herself is by backing Palestine or at least some kind of neutrality thing. She was backing Israel full throttle too.
Well, she actually did. Remember, she did. She was backing Palestine for like a day. And then like the next day, she's like all 100% pro-Israel.
Oh, so it happened so quick. I don't even remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she got the call. Yeah, she was like at some sort of pro-Palestine rally, I think, or something like that. And then next day, she's 100% behind Israel.
So, yeah. So even though Vance, obviously I think he's a hypocrite. Now, what he's saying there isn't wrong. He's not wrong at all. Harris was, again, she was literally going around the country with fucking Dick Cheney's fucking daughter. Fucking, it's not a good look when, the mood in the country at the time was like, yeah, let's stop it with all these fucking forever wars over the Middle East. So the Dems,
I guarantee if Kamala got in, we would still be. It would have been really soon after that we had troops on the ground in Iran, and we'd still be there right now.
Yeah, I don't know either way. I'm just saying it's not a stretch to think that. She did herself no fucking favors. Yeah.
And that's kind of why we voted for these guys, is because we wanted to stay out of this shit. And there for a while, it's looking like Trump is really not happy with Israel and what their stuff that's going on with Iran, especially when he had that comment of they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, that was
like good. Trump's mad at both sides.
Yep. That was my favorite Trump moment. I remember I'm like, he sounds like a real guy for once. He doesn't sound like Trump. He doesn't sound like, I was like, fuck it. There's a real guy in there somewhere after all. Holy shit. We need that real guy back, whatever the fuck happened to him.
It's like the dumbest of all possible worlds.
I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like the foolishness with which
alcoholic, you mean alcoholic,
ricocheted around the world, intervening, think it was in our best interest when really we just overturned the table and created something worse in almost every single scenario, has led to the hubris of the Pentagon is that they want to now tell other countries how to do counterinsurgency based on what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan.
It's so easy to become a podcaster at Riverside. You just need a concept and a way to record it.
Are you kidding me? So you really have learned nothing. Okay, nothing. So you're right. The trust there that our political leaders or our generals would have our best interests in mind is totally broken. It's totally broken.
I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn into the Joker.
Pete's off the wagon again with this neocon relapse.
He's out of recovery. He needs to start back into the 12. He needs to make amends first, right? Isn't that part of the 12 steps?
A lot of amends to make.
There's a lot of amends that are currently to make. But I think the most potent one, Tulsi, Donald Trump, obviously. Trump actually, I would not defend. He said various different things to many people at all time. Mm-hmm. But JD, Pete, JD and Tulsi, to the most extent, are the ones who are like, yeah, you're full of shit. And that is the one which, honestly, is so galling. Because, okay, I can say this in Tulsi's case. How many times have we interviewed this woman?
Oh, yeah.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
Sat across from the desk, looked in the eyes. What did she always talk about? Being an a medic in Iraq, right? Mm-hmm. She talked about brothers and sisters. I believed it. Maybe I'm super naive. I believed it when I looked her in the eyes and she would talk about that. She took a lot of shit. She went to Syria to meet with Assad. It was like, basically got forced out of Congress, the whole donor machine. Hillary called her a traitor. Like, she suffered politically. And so to go from that, and then, by the way, can we put E2 up on the screen here, where she literally was selling T-shirts saying no war with Iran. When we first started Rising, I would go around the country. I would meet a lot of Tulsi people, right? She spoke to a lot of folks whenever it came to the no war, anti-war position. She went on Rogan, the no war with Iran t-shirt. Like, this was a real constituency. And I remember meeting a lot of these people across the country. So now to have her as the director of national intelligence in the Situation Room while the war with Iran launches, it's unbelievable. Then let's take the vice president. I mean, did you hear what he said there about would not be in our interest? I think he believes, I used to think he believed that.
I do want to say one thing is that I think that this war with Iran thing is a little bit premature, saying that we are at war with Iran. And it was the same way when we did that strike on their nuclear facilities where, I said the same thing. It's a little premature. Hopefully we do the thing and we get out. And that's what happened. We did the thing and we got out. But then again, this time we're backing Israel. So who knows? But I still think it's a little premature. Like if we start sending in troops, then we're fucked. Then I can say I would definitely be in the they went back on their word if we start sending in troops. United States troops, US troops. Like if Israel wants to send troops, like whatever European countries want to send troops or other Muslim nations or whatever in the area, feel free. Until the United States starts sending in troops, then I'm going to be like, I don't know if I want to be in line saying that you said you wouldn't do this just yet.
Yeah, some of that's fair. Yeah. I'm somewhere in between. You make a decent point there. It is still early, but I mean we attacked them, so it's like it's not good. This is what like starts the whole thing, and I actually do agree with Saga that this was pretty much Tulsi's whole identity, and so, and God, Tulsi to me, we've talked about it before, and I was a huge Tulsi fan at one point. I just think she's like all over the map, and I try to put myself in her shoes at certain times because obviously the Clinton machine and the DNC, they were very unfair to her, 100%. I just, what always gets me, it's like she seems so like noble at one point and said like fuck you to the establishment. I'm even resigning as vice chair of the DNC to back Bernie, but she literally backed Bernie, and then the next election she backed Bernie over Hillary, then she backed Biden over Bernie, and then she backed Trump over Biden. So it's like she's just all over the fucking map. So I don't know what to think of her anymore. The one thing I will give her again, I said, is like the Clinton machine was, those fucking cunts were very unfair to her, and she's in a tough spot, even if she really is against this conflict. She works for Trump, and Trump did, so I don't know what she's supposed to do at this point. I mean, I guess ironically resign is what she should do, but her political career is pretty much over at this point because the Dems ain't gonna take her back. So,
or maybe having somebody like that in that position is actually probably the best place for someone like that, so that maybe she can stamp down a little bit of the war hawking going on. You know what I mean? Like she's in a position to say, hey, no, we're going to go in, we got a mission, we're going to do the mission, and then we're going to leave, type of thing. You know what I mean? Like we're going to go in, we're going to do the thing, and then we're going to get the fuck out. And hopefully that she's like the person that we want in that sort of position. You know what I mean? It's like she still has to support it because it's her responsibility to make sure that if we do these sorts of missions, they need to be done proper. Well, I'd say she needs to support it. You don't want to sabotage, your own nation's military efforts. You know what I mean? You don't want to sabotage the actual efforts, but being there and be able to put rein it in might be what she does.
I guess that's the way she could try and redeem this whole thing. Just unfortunately, as we covered in the first video clip, the messaging on why we're even there or why we're doing what we're doing is fucking all over the map.
And then there's
too,
that.
So yeah.
There's like, why are we even there?
So Sam Bibley asks, what do you call assassinating the leader of another country when you're not at war? Then terrorism.
Based.
See, I'm with you, Sam. Although it's a little tricky with Iran because again, not my expertise, but the Ayatollah is almost more of the religious leader, and then there's like multiple leaders of that country. It's a weird fucking thing. But yeah, I'm with you, Sam. I understand, as I said, what Cryptid's saying. But I think it's a little more than a mission at this point. I guess I get we can't call it a full-fledged war at the moment, but this is how they stop. I'll just say that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I'm saying. We need to see where this goes before I get behind the whole they lied about not going to war. As I said, once we start sending in troops, and I'll be like, yeah, they lied about not going to war. But right now, I'll just be like, it's sort of like the same thing with Venezuela and stuff. We just bombed a bunch of their boats, but never really went in. You know what I mean? Like bombing stuff and sending in drones and rockets and stuff is one thing. Once it gets troops on the ground, that's going in. Now we're there. And that starts to become difficult to not be there anymore, to get out.
Hell no.
Yeah, and they got to rein in Trump because I swear he said something about not definitely. Trump. He just fucking says shit like something about the draft possibly coming back. Well, I don't think the draft is coming back. I'm not even worried about it. But I'm too old. But not even worried about it with my kids, or whatever. But knock on wood. But because Trump just fucking spitballs shit. But yeah, they got to get him fucking out of control with the shit he just says.
Now, but secondary was that whole thing about Kamala, who likes. That's literally how Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are acting right now.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth is literally acting like a movie character.
Yeah.
Whenever he's like, "We are winning," and well, screw you, media, for reporting on the deaths of American soldiers. Donald Trump is like, Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Clearly, he loves the theater of limited military operations, which are now spiraling out of control. It's like, oh my God. I mean, look, again, you could say I told you so, and that's fair, certainly at this point. But I don't know. I mean, are we just never supposed to believe any politician? Like,
Yes.
I can tell you this. In Tulsi's
You are
case,
never
in
to
JD's
believe any
case,
politician.
much more
Any
limited
politician.
extent on Pete.
You're
I had
Getting
to,
it now, Saga. You're getting it.
That's
yeah.
a good place to start. Always
Yes.
start with, I don't trust anything that's being said.
No, correct.
told by multiple people that he actually was scarred by his experiences with Iraq and Afghanistan and rethought a lot of stuff on Ukraine. I said, okay, I believe you. Don't believe it anymore. But in a lot of these cases, and it's not just the public officials' names that you would know. I'm talking about deputies and other people all over the National Security Council. I've met these people for years. We were at conferences and other things where Iran war was like anathema. That was like the one thing we're like, we're not doing this. And so then to not only see them in power, but working behind the scenes to execute this, you're like, what the fuck? I mean, so it was just all a joke. The whole thing was a joke. Or it's just a cult. Trump is in charge. And there's a lot of egg on a lot of face, mine included. I got to tell you, it has been one of the most serially radicalized things that has ever happened to me, because I've read many times in books about politicians being liars and narcissists and all this. Okay. And so what do you do? You have it. I've lived here for a long time. I had an appropriate level of skepticism. A lot of the people who were working in this White House who said that they were against war with Iran took immense like professional hits for being against a lot of the so-called neocon consensus. So what do you conclude by that? You're like, okay, you have a track record, you must believe it. Yeah. And then they come into power, and it's the opposite. It's so crazy. I'll tell you that. On a person.
They said it to get in power. They said it to get in power, Sagar. Like, it kills me because Sagar, on one hand, he's way more intelligent than I am. You know what I mean? Way more intelligent.
Yeah.
But he's missing some of the comments. But when you get that intelligent over politics, you start to think that it actually works the way you read it works, and that's not the case. They said what they had to say to get in power. It happens all the time. Both parties do it, and both parties are owned by Israel.
I will say, with this time around with Trump and with the people that he had, I will say that, I did I was exceptional. I'd say I was exceptionally hopeful that this would be like the anti-war kind of president. I guess I should say.
Yeah, yeah. I said when Trump first got elected, I was hoping, because I think it's forgotten because it's been so long. Trump actually, when he first ran, he kind of proposed some like he proposed universal health care. Like he didn't have a plan, but he was like healthcare for everybody, and of course he wanted to do it the capitalistic way, where I think he said something like opening up insurance companies can go to all 50 states instead of certain
removing
states,
a lot of the restrictions.
yeah.
With the Obamacare really fucked healthcare with all its regulations.
Right.
It really just all the CA really did was just make it easier for healthcare companies to fuck us over.
Could be, yeah. But the big point I was trying to make is Trump wasn't like this. Remember, he wasn't even considered like a real Republican when he first went, because he was all over the place with the policies. Oh, is it? Fuck. How am I now?
Yeah, you're cutting out, and it looks like your connection's starting to die.
God damn. All right.
Hey, Beef Drippins. What's up, buddy?
Mr. Beef Drippin. All right.
It's been an hour and 40 minutes. We could probably
we'll just wrap it up. Can you hear me at all, or should I just hit end?
I can hear you now. It's maybe get rid of the pop up. We could talk with Joe.
I'll get rid of everything. Yeah.
Get rid of the sharing. That'll probably help a little bit. We can talk a little Joey C.
Yeah.
And then get out of here.
Sounds good. All right. Here's what we'll go with. So we're done with that. Sagar, I love you, but you're naive with this stuff.
Which is wild because he's there. He like knows all these politicians and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we watched Joey C put out a video this week, and he kind of talked about he has a prison reform policy he wants to do. We actually interviewed him on it. I think January or February. I forget when.
People watching say you're fine. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, it might be. I can actually I have it playing on YouTube, and it's actually it seems okay. If you can't hear me, dude, we'll just end it. It's not a big deal.
No, I can hear you. It's just roboting like crazy. But if it's good for everybody else, then I can hear you well enough. So
all right, we're just gonna talk literally 5 minutes on Joey C, and then we'll just end this thing. So if anyone's interested, I'll put Joey's video in the description after this, and we also interviewed him, and so he has like a prison reform bill he wants to have, which helps prisoners. It can't be violent prisoners, like if you rape somebody, kill somebody, you're not qualified. I think it's more for like the drug abusers and stuff like that. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED. You'll have to get your GED first if you don't have one to get in this program, and all this stuff to help people. And it seems good. The devil will be in the details, but I'm all for that. What I will say though, Joey, is you did say during it that you're not doing this because you spent time in prison and your daughter spent time in prison, and obviously I don't believe that 1 second. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Cryptid and I talked about this too. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with it either. Like, obviously, you going to prison, you having an addiction, your daughter going to prison, you care about those things. You care about addiction. You care about prison reform. You even bring up your daughter's disabled. She's blind, and how there's issues there. So, what's up, Vagina Wrinkle? Yeah, there's deaf. Did I say blind? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, she's deaf. And like I think one of the things you brought up is by law, she's supposed to have an interpreter available, and she doesn't have one, I guess, and things like that. So basically, Joey, I just wanted to say there's nothing wrong with saying that the things that have happened to you in your life have influenced the policies that you're passionate about. That's how it works. like, when you like, I'm passionate about addiction because I battled it, and I have several family members who either battled it or, I mean, I lost 2 cousins over it. I have other cousins battling it, so it's passionate for me. Most of us, unfortunately, have had family members who've had cancer and stuff like that, so that's kind of a passion for a lot of people. I even, being completely honest, if I wasn't a working class stiff who's landscaped for 25 years and worked this other job for 20 years, if I had a nice cushy office job paying me like 200 grand a year, I don't know if I'd be all passionate about working class issues. I'll never know that. It obviously is probably an influence on me. So I'll let Cryptid talk about this real quick, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with owning, saying like, my history of going to prison, my history of addiction, the things my daughter's going through, they have influenced why I'm doing this. 100%. There's nothing wrong with it.
Although I can also see why he might want to kind of distance himself from saying that is an influence. Just for the reason, like, he doesn't want to come off as being like he wants prison to be softer or like less prison time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, he probably doesn't want to sound like, oh, prison's horrible, we need to make it less horrible for the prisoners type thing. But on the other hand, I think, knowing the system, because most of us don't know a lot of this stuff about the prison stuff. Like, I actually learned a lot from Joey about how these prisons are run and what's going on. And I think, as you said, I think it's a benefit actually to say, I've been through the system. I know how the system works, and these are the problems with the system. And I think that a lot of that just does go under the radar for most people, because most people don't give a shit because they're not going to go to jail. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They're not going to go to prison, so they don't really care about what goes on in a prison. But from a lot of stuff that Joey said, I was just like, there's a lot of basic common sense stuff that's just not being done. And I do like a lot of his ideas about prison reform, and especially when it comes to supporting a prisoner once they get out.
Yes.
I think, which, in order to reduce recidivism, which, I agree, sounds very good and likely something that would happen. That actually is a pretty good idea. And obviously, this is, from Joey C himself, and knowing his own issues and with his family and stuff of coming out of the prison system and not having any support. And then, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to fall back to what got you put in prison in the first place.
Yeah, some of the best stuff I think Joey said during that is he said something like, if you go in, if someone goes in an addict and they get released an addict, the system failed. If they go in non-violent and they come out violent, then the rehabilitation it failed. And he's absolutely right. Like, obviously, there are certain crimes you commit. You rape somebody, you molest somebody, you kill somebody. We're not interested in rehabilitating you. We're interested in locking your fucking ass up for the rest of your life.
And a lot of those are like, I don't even know why we keep them in jail.
So,
they should be out. They should be buried out behind the jail.
Well, that's another discussion. Like, I'm more against capital punishment because of wrongly convicted people. But the reason I don't get all into it is because I don't want to sit there and defend the worst people.
Yeah, that's sort of the problem with the argument, right?
Right,
like,
right.
Like, no, you shouldn't be executed for violently raping 12 women.
Right. It's a tough argument to make.
It's like, he's a human too.
But the people that are addicts, or they rob because they're like, they may not be, sure, they could be bad people, but a lot of them aren't. So if you can rehabilitate them, that's great. But unfortunately, as Joey can tell you, that's not something we do. So I agree with Cryptid. Your experience is huge here, Joey, and it's tough to get people to care about this issue because, as I said, most of us aren't going to go to prison. So the best way you can do it is you tell your story and you become sympathetic. And it's up to you or it's up to your daughter what happens with her. I would never tell someone to bring their daughter into this, but I think your daughter's, if she's interested, your daughter's story about being disabled in prison, that's a very sympathetic story, so that could get people to care. If the more you humanize this situation, the better chance you'll get for people to back the bill. and understand it's not just about releasing criminals, whatever. So I agree with Cryptid. I understand why you may want to push yourself against it, but I think your experience is actually a huge asset in this whole thing. And the only other thing I wanted to say is thank you for the compliments. You said you got some good advice from two gentlemen who were me and Cryptid. So thank you very much. And
well, we don't know that, but we do know that they're very intelligent and handsome men who very likely dating supermodels and have Ferraris.
And they gave fantastic advice. Yes.
Yes, and they're very smart and they know everything.
And I'll say
but we don't know who they are though.
No, they were nameless. The final thing I'll say on that, Joey, is what's ironic is this is like I support a bunch of policies or the couple policies you kind of pushed out there. And what I find interesting is in that same video, you heavily complimented Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani, two politicians I can't stand, but that's a great thing. That just shows that what I think what Cryptid and I try and do here, it's like it's not about political beliefs, it's not about party affiliation or any of that. We're working class people or up whatever, regular working class, upper working class. We're not rich elites, no matter what. Right. And I work side by side with conservative people. I've been to their house. Our kids have played together. We've been to each other's weddings. Those are my neighbors. Those are my brothers. It doesn't matter I'm more progressive or whatever. Bill Clinton is not my fucking brother. Obama's not my fucking brother. Just like on the other side, Cheney, Bush, Trump, they're not your brother. So I think it's a good thing to show that even though we have different political beliefs, we're neighbors in real life, and that's what's important. So keep up the good work, Joey.
And also like to congratulate. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was one of his better live streams, I thought, politically.
Yeah, I also want to congratulate Joey on upping his game on those and not sitting in the corner slouching in a chair talking about this stuff and making an effort to keep it all separated, which I think is extremely important.
Huge
to keep it separated from his regular shows that he does on his other channel. I think that is extremely important, and that's a good show, and it's looking good now. It's looking better.
Yeah,
you need to get yourself a green screen if you're going to use a background. You really need to get a green screen for that. It's like really my only real criticism of the last couple of videos is, hey, you need to get yourself a green screen, or at least make it more have like you have your regular corner for your podcast, and then you can switch everything over just like a little bit. Like you don't need the camera. You can just move the camera a little bit and you can sit over on the other spot and then have a more present, have something like an American flag or something in your background.
Yeah.
Or, a Catalano for president poster and an American flag or something.
I saw one comment. It said something like, I love the Afro effect in the background, because clearly behind Joey, I think, was a picture of maybe I know he has some pictures of rappers or something. So ironically, when the thing would because there was no green screen, when it would fizzle out, you would see an Afro behind him of whoever.
I didn't even notice that. I was listening more than watching.
not a full Afro, but it was. You could.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, his head is basically right in a perfect spot to where.
Yeah, it was perfect spot where there's a picture on the wall of another gentleman's head with fucking. So it was kind of funny. All right, that should do it. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark. That's perfect. The good Cryptid, thank you so much. Congratulations on getting your YouTube channel back, and tell the people where they can find you.
Liquid_Cryptid here on YouTube. Back, baby. Nice. And I've been trying right now. I'm creating a series of where I am going through the Rodney's issue with Stuttering John. And I got the first few episodes in. Essentially, I started with, the day of, and then now I'm at the day after, and right now I'm trying to go through, and then I'm getting to the part. I'm doing the evening show right now that happened the day after, where I'm going to show the layout of all the narrative, the beginning of the narrative of what John has in his head, and then I'm going to go each day and go through what parts have changed each day because it seems to change daily. And that's what I'm working on now. Now that John's back at home, I'm hoping to do more stream sniping of Stuttering John. If he comes on later, I said all this week, his like 3 or 4, this last couple of weeks, all his 3 or 4 a.m. streams or 3 or 4 p.m. streams. Not a good time for me.
Right.
So you can catch me there. You can catch me on X at Liquid Cryptid, Rumble, where you can catch all John's live streams. Catch the recordings of all John's live streams. Liquid Cryptid on Rumble, and TikTok. Liquid Cryptid on TikTok. John's starting to take over TikTok now. I'm getting, I got one almost 10,000 views.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're getting massive views on TikTok. Is jumping off too.
That's crazy.
With Stuttering John, I'm getting more and more people. Like I get getting more and more comments saying, "Oh yeah, I remember. This is what Stuttering John's like now. I remember him from Stern." And they're like, "This is him now." They're like, "What's going on?" And I like explain, what's going on with them and shows to go to and stuff like that. So I got more dabblers coming from TikTok.
Gonna blow. That whole thing with Jake on with John the other day was fucking hilarious. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I watched it live, but I had a few cocktails in me, so I need to go watch it again. But
What fun! And sorry, Jake had he had I know you don't get. He had turned on Ava, and he said a couple weeks ago on stream that the reason was he said Ava manipulated me into supporting Stuttering John. And then when I was on with Jake a couple days ago, I asked him off screen, and he told me the same thing. And then that morning when he went on John, he turned on Deb from Nice Podcast Stupid and Dan, because Dan announced that he was going to be a regular co-host of Stuttering John, like at least once a week. So he's like, fuck you. And then all it takes is the link. He gets the link from John. And
that's Jake. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I know. He's like hasn't liked John for a while or whatever.
Yeah,
and he gets leaking. All of a sudden, he's the Stuttering John army and loves Ava again.
And I actually went on.
Like, yeah,
it was so funny. Jake went live like right after John booted him off. And I went on with it, and he's like, the title of the stream was like, "What a crazy day for me," and he's like, "Guess what, everybody? I was just on with Stuttering John." It was fucking hilarious. Like he was on a anti-John rampage up until that morning, and then just takes the link. It's fantastic. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Mumbling Nick. Obviously, you can find me here at OG Mumbling Nick on YouTube and X. I'll actually be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the Pineapples channel. I have a rare Monday off from work, and we didn't do Between Two Hacks on Saturday because he was traveling with family. So we're going to do it tomorrow. So weekday afternoon stuff usually isn't the best turnout, but if anyone's around and wants to listen, please do. And Metal, I think I'm hoping Tuesday night. I was hoping for tomorrow night after I did my shit with the Pineapple, but I don't think it's going to be ready. I am the first one. I'm not going to be doing them a lot, but the one I want to do is I've collected a bunch of shit. Pretty much it's all the claims that John makes against me now, like the reasons he won't have me on. Like I'm not going to get into the doxing or whatever. I cover that to death. It's the shit where he's like, you went to my house. You said I raped 2 underage girls. You did this, you did that. I made videos like in the fall of 2024. I wasn't live streaming, didn't really have a channel. I made videos on shit that was happening between me and John, and Clay was involved, and that baseball player. And I still have them. So, but it's a lot of editing because I want to. There are videos I made where I was like pausing and talking. Like John took all the streams down, so the only footage I have of John was me covering it 2.5 years ago. So I'm trying to edit out all the shit of me talking back then and that player's name. But yeah, it's interesting. This stuff I forgot about. Like, I mean, John accused me of emailing the Army Major and Karam, trying to get them not to go on his show, which I didn't do. Like John never brings it up, so I don't think he fucking remembers it. But what happened was I tagged. I'll give this one away. I tagged Ojeda in a public tweet and told him the person pretending to be his wife and daughter was Vince the lawyer. That's what I did. And John turned that into me emailing him and Karam, which I don't know either one of their emails. I've never talked to Karam in my life, telling them not to go on John's show. So all this stuff he just manufactures or exaggerates. So I'm kind of putting it together, and I think it'll be relatively interesting because I know I'm a nobody in the Dabbleverse, but I still find it fascinating that I'm the one guy that just can't seem to get on John's show no matter what, no matter how many of his supporters like vouch for me. Like the Pineapple might even get on because I said something, but he just won't have me on. And it's either because he's brain dead, or the other theory is he remembers enough to remember that he doesn't have enough on me. I never I didn't trash his kids. I defended his kids and all this stuff. Like he'll go against Kumiya, and Kumiya's biggest supporters because he knows he can say, "Oh, Anthony abused the woman. Anthony did this." He doesn't have that on me, so I think that might be part of the reason. I don't know. We'll see. But
Who knows, John?
Yeah,
man. It's the same way with Jake. Actually,
there's a lot of similarities between them, which is
John,
funny.
though.
Yes, I think so at this point. So.
But yeah, who knows what John?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'll try my best. I love that show.
Yeah,
I think they were all pretty interesting and fun to watch.
I mean, like you told me that, Echo told me that, Minimal. I just thought you were all being nice. I thought they weren't very good, but sure, I'll bring some back.
No, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, and I'll talk to Death. Maybe we can get some karaoke going.
I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, he's on. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cryptid, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow in the Pineapples chat. And if everything goes right, I'll be back here Tuesday night at 8 or 9 or something like that. So, and we'll be back here next week. So thank you guys.
Maybe.
Have
a good night.
Peace out, everybody.
Dabbleverse stuff, mumbling, pineapple stuff, dabbling, controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. NICK mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix of that dabble politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, back down, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics. Listen, we debate it all every week Saturday night, and this YouTube thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time. So you better get some better views and get paid for all your time. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabblers blasting out the political shit. The back and forth shit, put bounce in the dabble pit. On your flags up, on your flags up.